Go.
Welcome to this week's edition of the ShellBee Report. I'm Shalene. This is Brian. And today we're going to talk about the never-ending saga of Justin Bieber's bad behavior, including the recent videos that were released with him using the N-word in jokes or whatever. I don't know. Do you want to talk?
I mean, I know, like, overall, it's not a good look. That's obvious about it. I mean, there does seem to be a trend going on. There's almost like a nice racism trend going on these days between the Bundy fella out there and there's Texas.
The Bundy fella?
Yeah, he's the rancher that was carrying on. And then don't forget, he's the one trying to set this whole thing off. Sterling, of course. You had a woman in Cheektowaga or Buffalo. If anyone knows this area, knows Cheektowaga quite well. That went viral. Her cursing out a black guy in a parking lot
because he turned on
his car and supposedly scared her kids. Well, tell you, this must be some of the most scared kids I've ever seen in my life. With this car engine scaring them. And now, and in between all that, peppered in between that, have been leaks of this Bieber tape. Here's my thing with the Bieber thing. Obviously, we're going to discuss the ramifications of this. As far as like what our thoughts are, what people are reacting to it. My whole thing is this: when it comes to Bieber, like, I think Bieber's career is so over already that from that standpoint, everyone's wondering how it's going to hurt his career. His career is done. Like, his career has been done for like a year now. Just from that standpoint, this is just pretty much the dirt going on top of the grave. But he was already in the grave already. So because my mindset is he's very limited talent wise. Usually music has a way of eradicating guys like that. After a couple of years, a cycle goes by, you're pretty much not relevant. That's the reason why he's hanging out, pretending he's a thug, running around the place, putting out singles once in a blue moon because he's too frightened to actually put out an album because he knows it's not going to sell anyway. So I think, this is just the last piece of the puzzle. Pretty much we were looking at the tombstone of Justin Bieber's career today. On this date, June 6, 2014. Here lies the career of Justin Bieber. There you go.
Justin Bieber is an idiot. Full stop. He's a complete fool. And I understand children and teenagers say things that, are inappropriate or racist. They don't understand necessarily what they're talking about. But this is just the last in a line of foolishness, and I've just lost my patience with everybody.
Well, you see, here's my thing with this, and this is where the double standard comes in. I find, you've always mentioned this before. With Bieber, when he's doing foolishness, like, oh, he's just a young boy trying to figure out what he's learning. When it's Chris Brown in this case, pretty much we should burn him at the stake and be done with it. Now,
I get that Bieber was 15 when he made these comments.
Yeah.
Fine. But I do agree with you. If this had been a videotape of Chris Brown when he was 15 years old saying something inappropriate, and people would have been looking at it a completely different way. The same people who are telling us to give Justin Bieber a pass and a blight would be the same people who would be looking to lynch Chris Brown. And trust me, I am no Chris Brown fan, although I do like a couple of his tunes. I am not a big Chris Brown groupie or anything like that. But the people I'm most vexed with are these black people out here, these celebrity black people, and these Justin Bieber fans. Although I haven't seen many of them coming to his defense.
That Bieber, them believers be real quiet.
They've been real quiet. But all of these black people who are coming to his defense and saying that, he's not racist. I know him. Like, was it Floyd Mayweather who said something?
When Floyd Mayweather in this case is
really?
your initial person to step up, that's already cause for concern already.
You're right.
So let's consider the source.
The person who has me the most vexed in this whole situation is Whoopi Goldberg, because Whoopi went on The View someday this week and said one piece of nonsense about the N-word is not seen in the same light by Canadian black folk. Which part of Canada does Whoopi come from? Because I grew up in Montreal, and them was some fighting words. If anybody was to come out their mouth to call you anything like that, there would have been a fight in the playground, a fight in the street.
As if black folks in Canada in this case have a cup of tea when you refer to them as that.
Right. It's okay, white people. It's all right. We're just all around polite, I guess. So the anger of black people is just like, okay, well, we won't invite you to this week's barbecue, but maybe we'll invite you to next week's one.
Right. You say that in other parts of the world, it's just cool. You say that in France for black folks.
Right.
Don't.
Listen, I don't care if you tell us, if you say that to black people in Canada, if you say it to black people in the UK, if you say it to black people in the Caribbean.
Here's the Coles Notes version my wife's giving.
People are gonna get vexed. So I would tell any white person, don't use the word. You don't need to use the word. Stop using the word. And you black people who want to give people passes and make excuses like Don Lemon, who's going there saying that, oh well, black people have made it that much easier for Justin Bieber to use the word. You think that Justin Bieber and people like him only started using those words because they heard a hip hop song?
Yeah,
no. It's not to say I am against the N-word in general. I don't like to hear it. I don't use it. But just because some random rapper decides that he gonna use the N-word or somebody says it, doesn't mean that every black person on the face of creation has put their rubber stamp on using the N-word. Stop with the nonsense.
Don't start with Don Lemon. I think Don Lemon's been looking at his ratings too much, you know. I think Don Lemon's just looking around saying, okay, what can I say that's controversial enough so somebody can watch me on TV?
These so-called new blacks, I put in that category Pharrell, the same Don Lemon. I'm calling names. Now Morgan Freeman talking nonsense with Don Lemon.
Morgan Freeman's talking that nonsense for a long time.
All of them
Morgan
need a couple of
straight.
You see this here? They need this. They need a seat. Many seats.
Morgan Freeman's been talking that nonsense. That
honestly,
for a long time.
Honestly, these people are getting on my last nerves. I have lost all patience.
Yeah. As for Bieber, it's funny how Usher hasn't come and stepped up for him in this case. You know, I find that interesting. You know, since he's the one actually brought
Usher
him.
knows where his bread is buttered.
Yeah, Usher ain't no fool.
Usher is no fool.
I like my voice money.
Exactly.
I'm not messing that money up.
I know who buys my CDs and downloads my music for the most part. I'm not gonna get these people vexed.
Oh man, but Bieber. What else to say? I mean, I think his career is done already.
I don't know. People keep saying that they need to deport him back to Canada. We don't want him.
I don't care if he stays in the U.S. or Canada. That's such a straw man thing. Like, that's bare nonsense.
I know. I'm just joking around with that.
I know,
That's
but
not the issue at hand.
But to me, like, this whole thing here, supposedly got 20 more minutes of this stuff. So you think it's something now? But at the same time next week, man, who knows? By this time, you might have a hood by then.
I am just so done. I am so done with all of these celebrities, all of these singers or whatever, who want this black pass, who think that they're down, who think that they know what it is to be black. As Paul Mooney say, everybody want to be black, but nobody don't want to be black.
Right, when things get tough.
When things get dark.
Things be getting tight. Folks don't want
it. And the night is full of terrors, you Game of Thrones fans. You would understand. No one wants to be black. But when it's cool, when you're hanging out with the celebrities and all that, and you think you're cool, then it's all good.
Well, I think, you know what's another thing become with this conversation? I don't understand why, what's the thought process when you're recording these things, like, you know, and, like, I'm sitting there going, like, okay, you're recording something in this case you know is offensive, but yet you're recording it. Like, what mind?
Well, that goes
what
back
mindset
to
you in?
that. I think that all goes back to him being a teenager, because teenagers don't necessarily make the best decisions. As opposed to there was somebody there when he was taping it that was telling him, no, this is not a good idea.
Right? Yeah, you think?
So clearly he's not smart.
You know,
and you know, there's
cut
things,
out with the videos.
There are things that I probably have said or have done as a teenager that I wouldn't want people to talk about
that
now.
Part of it too.
But when I was a teenager, there was no Instagram, there was no YouTube, there was no Facebook and Twitter and all of that. So we could do certain things and leave it in our past. In this day and age, you can't do something and leave it in your past. It follows you forever. So these kids have to be even more savvy. I want to know where his parents are. Like, his parents have just said, okay, well, he's bringing in the money, so I don't have to do anything.
Well, I think all this tells me is that his parents were never really involved in his life, it seems like, from a long time before he became famous. They, I think they were smelling a check. And, we got the check. And, now we have Lindsay Lohan Part 2. Yay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I mean, like I said, I'm done. I won't be listening to any more Justin Bieber videos of him saying nonsense, because it's the same old thing. Why rile myself up over Justin Bieber and his nonsense? Justin Bieber can kick rocks. Like,
I honestly, yeah.
He's not a factor or anything like that.
I thought pretty much he was done already a year ago or two, but when my little cousins in this case, when you asked about Bieber like a year ago, and they had moved on to like a whole heap of other fellas, like Who Chased the Fox, or all these other folks in One Direction. They were done with it, they were done with him.
Yeah.
So that pretty much ended his career from then.
Whatever.
Anyways,
Bieber. Whatever.
That's 10 minutes of my life I'll never get back discussing Justin Bieber. Anyways.
He does suck.
Wow. Okay. Coming strong with the haterade today.
Not haterade, it's truth. It's fact. You suck.
And on that note, we'll end today's podcast.
Bye.
Bye.